Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw Countout. It's the only top 10 wrestling show that we have on this channel at this time. So Larson.
At this time. Oh, at this time. Yeah.
At this time. So last week, almost a week ago now.
Yeah.
No, a little over, yeah.
More than a week ago.
Week and a day.
8 days ago.
We witnessed
one of the worst matches in recent WWE memory. The main event of Super Showdown. Undertaker taking on Bill Goldberg.
Now, granted, it does appear that Bill Goldberg had his bell rung pretty bad shortly into the match, and even maybe prior when he bashed his head into a door. And that might have affected the general sloppiness after that point of the match. But still, it was pretty shockingly bad. Something tells me even if Goldberg was in tip-top shape up here in the noggin,
it still wouldn't have been a good match. It
probably still would have been pretty shockingly bad. But, of course, that got us thinking. Because there's been this sort of kind of debate going on, like just how bad was this match? It was very bad. But there's kind of this debate. Just how bad was it? Within the context of other big matches, Larson, we have to count down the top 10 most shockingly bad main events in the WWE. If you go outside the WWE, then you get a whole lot more.
A lot of bad.
It's really bad.
A lot of bad. So we're focusing strictly on WWE pay-per-view main events.
Biggest company on the planet, so that's what we're gonna focus on.
And wow, they had a lot of turds main event their shows.
Oh yeah, let's get right into this. Number 10. The 2015 Royal Rumble match.
So this is the one that Roman Reigns won.
Yes.
That's primary, not because he won, but because seemingly WWE had either they had no idea how badly his victory would be perceived, or they didn't care how badly his victory would probably be received. This was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The fans in Philly are known.
They're pretty smart.
But also known to voice their displeasure should they not approve.
They know good wrestling.
I mean, this is the town that threw batteries at Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that's what it was.
Yeah.
They've thrown batteries, fans in Philadelphia have thrown batteries at somebody before. It might have been Santa Claus. Might have been a player from another team.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, fervent, vocal fans in Philadelphia, and they were none too pleased with the finish to this pay-per-view, even with The Rock coming out and raising Reigns' hand.
This is hilarious because I remember the look on Rock's face, and it's immortalized here in this picture. If you're watching this on YouTube, the look on Rock's face right around that moment was one of confusion.
Yeah.
Roman here, he's trying his best
to put on the good face. Of course, he last eliminated Rusev, and if Rusev had won that match, he'd have been the top babyface in the entire company.
Oh yeah, big time,
because he'd be the man who felled Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but we sort of talked before we were rolling. Which one did we want to go through? This one or the one the year prior, where everybody wanted Daniel Bryan
to win,
and they gave us no Daniel Bryan.
Instead, Batista won. Number 30 was Rey Mysterio, and CM Punk was concussed during the match. It was his last WWE show ever. 2015 did see Daniel Bryan in the Royal Rumble for a brief moment. He came in about halfway through, was eliminated fairly quickly.
And the crowd booed pretty hardcore on that one. But the lasting image of this one was just... And it's funny because for a couple of years... There had been, so Shinsuke won 2017, is that when it was, or 2018? 2018, okay. Shinsuke won 2018, and at that point it was like, whoa, everybody really wants to win one. But up until that point, it was just a mess with Batista, Roman Reigns,
Triple H.
I think before that, like Sheamus won or something. It was a mess. And so this was right in the middle of that.
Yeah, they've had a pretty long stretch of not really getting the Rumble right.
They had a long stretch. Yeah, it was really bad. Remember we did that one list? It was like worst Royal Rumble winners, and it was like 8 out of the last 10 years.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was really bad.
The track record of late has not been great.
Yeah, but no, the Royal Rumble is usually something to celebrate, something to really have fun with, and man, 2015 really seemed to get it wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Rock should have won it. That'd have been cool.
No, Rusev should have won it. That'd have been awesome.
Yeah, that could have changed things for him.
That's putting it lightly. Instead, he rolled up in a tank that following WrestleMania and lost to John Cena.
Yeah, but rolling up in a tank is great.
Imagine if you rolled up in a tank from the main event of WrestleMania.
And won the title and rolled out of that thing with the tank.
Exactly.
Anyways, moving on. Number 9. Roman Reigns versus Triple H at WrestleMania 32.
Correct.
Yeah,
and
32.
we don't mean to necessarily pick on Roman Reigns during this countdown. This isn't necessarily a reflection of his abilities per se. he's putting some kind of no-win situations.
Yeah.
Especially another entry later on. There's not much he could have done to salvage that scenario.
No, Vince McMahon, as everybody knows, is a notorious micromanager. He's had this experiment going on with Roman Reigns. It's kind of on the downside now, but it could pop up at any moment again. But for the longest time, he was just throwing Roman Reigns into everything he possibly could. This, I think, had more to do with Triple H. Because here's the thing, Triple H can put on really good matches.
But he's also known for putting on his fair share of long, boring stinkers.
Yeah.
Especially at WrestleManias, oddly enough.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but this is when Roman Reigns actually was booked relatively well. It was a short period of time where the crowd was behind him. It was only a year after that 2015 Rumble we just talked about.
Yeah, so the following Survivor Series when Seth had dropped the belt, because he blew out his knee, following Survivor Series, that match between Roman, Dean, Roman won, Sheamus cashed in on him. And we said at the time that if anybody's going to help getting Roman over, it's going to be Sheamus because nobody likes Sheamus.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked to a degree because there was a rematch where Roman punched Vince to a huge reaction from the crowd. At some point in there, he destroyed Triple H. Again, huge reaction from the crowd. However, speaking of Royal Rumbles, they booked wrong. Rumble before this match, Triple H won. Reigns had to put his championship on the line during the Rumble.
Yeah.
Triple H won it. And, in theory, it makes a certain amount of sense. Put the belt on Triple H and have Roman go over him. That'll be Reigns' coronation. The problem is Triple H just couldn't help but try to be cool heel Triple H.
Yeah.
He was crotch-chopping, getting inadvertently or purposely the crowd behind him.
Yeah. You know what could have this relates to the problems that we see today. This relates to why we're exposed to things like Goldberg and Undertaker. Is this thing that we've talked about endlessly, and a lot of people have talked about WWE's inability to create new big stars. And when you look at the Royal Rumble from 2016, when Roman had to put his title on the line, and what the outcome was, the final two participants in that particular Royal Rumble were Dean Ambrose and Triple H. And Triple H ended up eliminating Dean Ambrose. Why not have Dean Ambrose go over there, turn heel, whatever, and then have him face Roman Reigns? And you have two full-time young guys on the roster main eventing WrestleMania, as opposed to yet another part-timer with Brock Lesnar, or in this case, another part-timer legend guy with Triple H.
Yeah.
You need young guys
Maybe
in there.
they thought that Reigns going to Triple H would accomplish that. You have Triple H taking the loss to Reigns, and Reigns will be the next huge thing in wrestling. Again, problem was several things. One, Triple H couldn't either help himself or was told to actually seem like the cooler option as far as champions. We're just saying something because I don't want to see 40-something Triple H as WWE champion.
Neither do I.
But a portion of the crowd was definitely cheering Triple H on. And then also the match just wasn't very good. There wasn't apart from the spear through the barricade, there wasn't like a defining moment for Roman. Whether that was how the match was laid out or something on either of their parts, who knows? But it seemingly did Reigns no favors whatsoever.
Well, part of it also was the build is when Dean took on a central role.
Yeah, and Roman kind of faded to the background a little bit.
And Triple H and Dean Ambrose actually had a pretty good match at Roadblock.
Yeah, that was a really good match.
Part of me does wonder if Triple H not being able to control himself or to stop himself from being cool heel Triple H was him maybe challenging Roman to get himself over to maybe find a way.
Could be.
To step outside of what he usually does. But I still think that I think that the bottom line is Roman Reigns is a company guy and whatever Vince tells him to do. I'm not sure if Roman is, at the time especially, was going to be taking those kind of risks, to get himself over.
Yeah, totally.
So, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know either. Anyways, match was not good.
No, match was really bad. Actually.
It was really bad.
Shockingly bad.
Shockingly bad.
Number 8.
8.
The Nexus versus Team CENA.
You did put Team CENA. I thought about putting Team CENA on the notes, but you did it. Because
what was it supposed to be?
It's Team WWE.
Oh, that's Team CENA. Fool, get out of here.
It was Team CENA because everybody else was eliminated. He pretty much destroyed the Nexus single-handedly.
I thought it was literally Team CENA.
No, it was advertised as Team WWE.
Oh, man, that's funny. So, yeah, this is the one where he single-handedly buried the Nexus.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett, Stu Bennett tells this story wonderfully. If you can take a look at his...
Team CENA, sorry to interrupt you, was Morrison, Edge, Jericho, CENA, Bret Hart,
who wasn't even a wrestler.
R-Truth.
Yeah. And then Daniel Bryan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you watch Stu Bennett, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Stu Bennett, Wade Barrett's Inside the Ropes interview. I think there's a short clip of it on YouTube where he specifically talks about the finish to this match, which he understood, I believe, that he was supposed to be the last man standing, the guy who goes over here. I really do think that this was, you can pinpoint the make or break moment for Wade Barrett, and it was this moment.
Oh, yeah.
Even after everything else he did afterwards, the bad news Barrett, which I really liked, but it was obviously just a gimmick. And then his phoning it in with the League of Nations. At that point, he had slimmed down quite a bit. It was obvious he just wanted out.
He had dealt with some injury issues.
He had dealt with a bunch of injury issues. But this moment, I mean, the Nexus made such a great impact. First impression, exactly. And then going into this, even though they had them sort of going over CENA later and CENA had to join the Nexus, it was really stupid.
That was damage control.
It was, and it was not very well. It was not very well done. This match right here, he explains it in his interview much better than I could, but essentially he understood earlier in the week that he was supposed to be the last man standing. He shows up, and I think it was Arn Anderson who said, CENA is going to beat both you and Justin Gabriel to remain the last man standing. And Wade Barrett had to go track down Vince, and I forget, Vince just sort of, gave him, half a thought, basically.
Yeah.
Again, it was just, this was the pinnacle of LOL CENA wins.
Yes.
The absolute pinnacle of it.
Yeah, totally was.
So.
It totally was, and yet it definitely set back the Nexus because their debut was something else. And then they get in this feud with CENA. And then it's comparable somewhat to the situation with Bray Wyatt, where Bray has his first major feud with John Cena. They had that match at Mania that if Bray had won, it would have been a star-making performance. Would have made a star out of Bray Wyatt immediately.
Yeah.
And not only did Cena win, Cena won without compromising himself.
Yeah.
So he won the battle and the war. And granted, Bray picked up a win later on in their feud, but it wasn't the same. And the stage like WrestleMania, the stage like SummerSlam, if you really want to make a star, then you got to go all the way with it.
Yeah. That's very reminiscent of a Hogan thing, It's like, not only do I beat the bad guy,
I beat him on my terms.
I beat him on my terms, exactly. Yeah.
So like, even if Bray had lost that match, but Cena had compromised his principles, hit him with a chair, cheated, cut corners, had to fight dirty, then he could have claimed a bit of a moral victory.
Yeah,
Bray
exactly.
could have actually added some interesting fodder to the feud later on, but it really didn't.
Nope. Moving on, number 7.
7.
Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34. To be specific, it's the WrestleMania 34. There are plenty of other ones. I mean, you can take a look at one of the Saudi show with the.
That wasn't the main. The cage match wasn't the main event, though.
But if you're looking at just Brock Roman matches in general,
WrestleMania 31 wasn't bad. They were telling an interesting story, that one.
That first
terrible.
one, that was actually decent.
This one was bad.
Yeah. Vince, he was clueless at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it seemed
clueless.
like day of. They're like, okay, Roman, you're not going to win here after all. We'll push on that. Eventually, do it at the following SummerSlam, which is also not a very good match.
Yeah.
But this one, it was a situation where it seems like both of them were loaded to the gills with finishers, like they turn on infinite finishers on one of the WWE 2K video games.
Yeah.
And it was just F5 spear, F5 spear, F5 spear.
Yeah.
There was no drama. No build.
Right.
It was just, let's see how many finishers we can dole out until someone can't get up anymore. And we were expecting this to finally be Roman's defeat of Brock. They've been building to for years. Let's just get it over with, get out of the way, and move on with this whole thing. And then it didn't happen. And we're just left to scratch our heads. The crowd dumped on this match as soon as the bell rang, especially once it was fairly evident they weren't going to bother telling any sort of story.
Yeah.
They did nothing to try to get the crowd involved.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It was an absolute train wreck.
Yep. And the crowd was proved out right on that one because it was terrible. It was just finish. And it was like, really? Like, are you that bereft of ideas at this point? Like, you can't do anything else.
Nope.
Just, go in there and finish.
F5 spear, German suplex.
Because at that
Superman
point,
punch.
that was the build where Brock was like beating people with a single
F5.
Yeah, and then
And it took 5 F5s to beat Roman. I guess that's the story, is that it takes a bunch of finishers to
it was
beat
a
Roman.
real bad period, and
Yeah. And this wasn't a good match. And their cage match at Greatest Royal Rumble was not a good match either.
No, it wasn't. With a weird finish again.
A weird finish.
A weird finish.
And then the SummerSlam match was not good either, but at least that was comically bad.
Yeah.
With Braun being involved and trying to cash in, but being completely, seemingly out of his element. Didn't know how to do it.
What was the main event at that Saudi show?
It was the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Oh, that's right. That actually main evented.
I believe that was the actual main event.
Was it?
I believe so. Yeah, because I think they didn't want to send people home with
maybe
the
right
weird finish to. I thought it was at least. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Braun Strowman won.
Yeah, that match only lasted 9 minutes. The Lesnar Reigns cage match, 9 minutes.
Gosh.
How long was that Mania match? I want to check real quick.
I don't know.
I remember it being very short.
Do you think it was under 10 minutes?
It says 15:55, but it felt simultaneously shorter and longer than that. It's like, oh gosh, just more finishes. Come on.
Yeah. And it's just, I mean, I get why it was like just Lesnar's plodding around,
Yeah.
lurching. All right, here we go. Number 6. Diesel versus Mabel at SummerSlam 1995.
So I've heard a lot of bad about this match, and apart from the finish, I really wasn't that familiar with it.
Yeah.
I've seen worse matches.
So I guess the shocking part about this really was that Mabel was pushed as a main eventer, although it's not too shocking given the time. I mean, this is coming off of YOKOZUNA being the biggest heel in the WWE.
Yeah, and also, I mean, this was in the midst of Diesel's basically year-long title reign, and they were just putting heels in front of him so he could beat and look stronger.
Yeah.
And, Kevin Nash, he's a tall dude.
Well, I'll say this about Diesel. He looked like a 205 Live guy in this match.
Well, compared to his later work, yeah.
Well, he actually had some spring in his step.
He did. He was running. He did that kind of jump over the ropes. He was selling that spot on the ring post. Mm-hmm. He sold the dickens out of that. Mm-hmm. Like he laid himself out. We watched a shoot interview where he was talking about this match before he started, where there was a move that Mabel would do where he'd essentially just jump on somebody's back while they were on the mat.
Yeah.
And Nash has said that he had hurt some wrestlers prior to this, including Rikishi. Mm-hmm. And so he told Mabel before the match, don't do it.
Right.
I guess he was already dealing with back issues. Just don't do it. And Mabel did it anyways. And apparently Nash said he had, problems, like he couldn't feel his legs, he could barely stand up or something like that. His legs were wobbly, and so he had to do that the finish, and he was like, I could barely stand up at that point. Mm-hmm. So the second rope clothesline, which looked pretty weak, mm-hmm. I mean, there's some rationale behind it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a good match. Luger runs in and
Nash attacks him.
Yeah,
so like
Diesel
Mabel and who is Mabel's
Mo.
So Mabel and Mo are attacking. The ref is out. They're attacking Nash. Luger, runs out, and then Nash attacks him.
Yeah.
Even though then he starts attacking Mo, he gets him out of the match. It's like, wait, Luger was trying to help you, and then he just immediately attacked.
So
Luger just has kind of a punchable face.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what I'm guessing.
I guess so.
But no, it is. I mean, look, it's a really bad match.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as you'd think a Diesel versus Mabel match would be. Maybe that's the shocking element of it.
Maybe it is. It's not absolutely horrendous. It's not good.
No, it's not a good match.
It's on this
at all.
list, so it's not in any way a satisfying match to conclude a pay-per-view.
And I like that Diesel had seen Pulp Fiction just prior to this, like the afternoon prior.
He had the medieval line in there.
In his promo,
preceding the match, yeah. Exactly. It's not a good match, but there's worse matches.
Speaking of which, number 5. Miz versus John Cena at WrestleMania 27.
This is your main event of WrestleMania. This should be the blow-off to something huge.
Like, this would be a decent main event now.
Oh, yeah, it'd be a great main event now.
Yeah. At the time, though. I know, and it's funny because I think the Cultaholic guys, I think, like, Pacitti really likes the Miz winning the Money in the Bank thing.
Like actually winning Money in the Bank?
I'm sorry, cashing the cash in. Because he cashed in, I think, in Orton. Mm-hmm. I was never a fan of him. And it wasn't just he had go away heat with me. Mm-hmm. I was like, this guy is so not ready to do this.
Yeah.
And that was obvious. And it was obvious in the outcome of this match, Larson. What happened in the end of this match?
Well, he won thanks to help from The Rock.
And that the end of that, Rock was hosting, and it just set up the next 2 years of matches for WrestleMania.
Yes. And that's the issue. Your main event at WrestleMania should mean something. It should be the blow off of something massive.
And in this case, it could have been the coronation of a fantastic heel.
Totally.
Like if Miz, if they had really booked something interesting for Miz as a bad guy, as champion here, to go over John Cena, which he did win, but
yeah, it was all to serve a different story entirely.
You know, he had his helper Alex Riley there.
Yeah. Well, the initial finish was double count out. There was a spot over the barricade from the timekeepers area, and it was a double count out. And then The Rock came out. I think it was an anonymous Raw GM restarted the match. No, The Rock was going to read something from the anonymous Raw GM, if I remember correctly, and then said, no, we're going to restart the match.
Okay.
And then he eventually, that brought him down the ringside area. He dropped Cena with a rock bottom. Miz got the win.
Yeah. So.
And then the Miz lost, I think, in the next pay-per-view to Cena.
I think
or the one after that.
Well, the
it was
next
a cage
one
match with John Morrison.
Yeah, I think that was the next one. I think it was Backlash. Yeah. So yeah, again, Lol Cena wins. Well, eventually, but yeah, it just served to set up Rock versus Cena for 2 years
instead of actually meaning something.
Yeah, exactly.
At the moment.
Yeah, and it's just on top of that, it's not a good match anyways.
No, it was not.
It's not really a good match.
It was not a good match. The Miz then was not the wrestler he is now.
But what a shockingly bad ending for WrestleMania.
I know.
You know, it's like the writing was. You could just see what was gonna. Yeah.
The whole WrestleMania was not good.
No, it was really bad.
It had heel Michael Cole.
That was the heel
Jerry
Michael
Lawler.
Cole. That might actually be the worst match of all time.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
Long. Painfully long.
From the beginning, I remember watching the fairly recently. We were talking about that, and from the beginning of the segment, the end of the match that was right before that preceded it, until the very last thing we see,
Stone Cold Stunners is a half hour.
It's a half hour. They had to sit there a half hour, and it felt like 2.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Number 4. RYBACK versus CM Punk. Main event of, what is this, Hell in a Cell?
2012.
2012, yeah.
See that guy there in the middle?
It's Mad Braddock's.
Yeah. That was his debut.
That's right. As
heel referee who cost RYBACK WWE Championship in an applauding, boring Hell in a Cell match.
Whatever happened to Beef Mode? I don't see him. Remember he was going to be Mad Braddock's or something?
Yeah, he was supposed to be doing some independent stuff, but I don't know if he's been doing anything.
I haven't really heard much of
him. So yeah, this was the show I believe before Survivor Series when Punk brought in the Shield, and that was actually exciting and interesting.
Yeah.
But then you have RYBACK take his first WWE loss at the hands of heel ref with nebulous motivations.
Yeah, which they never he did a whole promo thing, and I don't remember what his motivation was.
Because Punk was distancing himself from him, and
yeah,
it was all very strange. But it wasn't a good match even before that.
Wait, seriously? Is this? Oh, it's a parody account.
Oh,
hold on, I'm trying to find him. That's not him.
But it was a bad match.
Yeah, no, it was
not clever, not creative. I think the only weapon used was a kendo stick or something like that.
Do you agree with? Oh, here he is. Do you agree with RYBACK when he says he could have been the Cena guy?
No.
Sorry. I'm going down a black hole of Brad Maddox parody accounts.
Wow.
So this says
they proliferated so
this one says
widely.
It's the official Twitter page for your first fan source for the rising star Brad Maddox. And then it says follow the real Brad at Brad Maddox at this one. I'm not going to say what the name is, but you go to this one.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find the guy. This one says AEW Brad Maddox.
Oh my gosh.
For role playing purposes only. There's a lot of Brad Maddox.
Maybe you should look.
Here.
Was it Mad Braddock's? What he changed his name to post WWE?
Let's see. Mad Braddock's. Oh wait.
People.
I think I saw it. Tyler Warner. Oh, there he is. No. I don't know. He only has 124 followers.
Maybe he got off Twitter and went back on.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's all confusing. Anyway, this match is terrible. RYBACK's not a good wrestler. CM Punk can only do so much.
Yeah, this is a really bad match.
It's really bad.
We can move on. Number 3.
3.
I spent half that entry looking for Mad Braddock.
Oh, look at that guy.
Why does Luger looks naked in this because of where the lower third is?
Yeah. Poor Scott Steiner's got his junk on his shoulder.
Oh boy! So what is it? SummerSlam '93? Yeah,
Luger
93?
versus Yokozuna. Of course, this is hot off the heels of Luger showing up on USS Intrepid, right?
Yeah,
And body slamming Yokozuna during that body slam challenge.
yeah. There's a body slam challenge.
And
He
everybody
showed up
thought,
on a helicopter.
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And this is Lex Express era Lex Luger. And
Lex.
he seemed poised to take over for Hulk Hogan.
And the WWE.
Yeah. As this super patriotic babyface. And it was all set up to happen here.
Yeah, yeah,
Main event for the title against Yokozuna.
yeah.
Neither of them are noted for their wrestling abilities.
No,
Not a good match.
No.
But the finish is one of the most bewildering things I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. So Lex Luger wins via countout.
yeah.
And then the entire
Which, by the way, sends the crowd into a frenzy. The crowd's really into it.
And then the entire face locker room empties out, comes to the ring, and hoists Luger on their shoulder. He's waving the stars and stripes. Balloons are coming down from the ceiling. They're
Children are
celebrating
crying.
as if
Yeah.
he won the WWE Championship
Yeah.
when he, in fact, won nothing at all.
No, they gave him like an American flag. But
Yeah.
you can get that at like Walmart.
Yeah, that's really easy to find.
Yeah.
Really easy to get.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's the weirdest thing, and the match sucked.
Yeah, it was
The
terrible.
match is really bad. I don't like. It's crazy. Like Vince, at first it was Yokozuna, then it was Mabel. He was obsessed with these really, really big fat guys who really couldn't move that well.
Yeah.
And like even when Brett finally beat Yokozuna at Mania 10, like it was because Yokozuna like what slipped or something.
He fell off the top rope or
Yeah.
middle rope. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty bad. This match is crap, and then it has that weird finish. I mean, maybe if Luger had won the actual title, this would be further down the list. It wouldn't be as bad.
It would still be. It wouldn't be as bad. No, I mean, what really puts the cherry on top of this match is how confusing that ending is. Because later on, Luger would co-win the Rumble with Brett, and they'd each take on Yokozuna at WrestleMania 10. Again, a really confusing
That
thing.
made zero sense.
Where he would lose and Brett would win. So I don't know if it's a situation where Vince had cold feet about put the belt on Luger, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, it didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense.
No.
Not a lick of sense.
I don't know, man. I mean, you look at. I wonder when Luger found out if Luger ever thought, or if he was ever told he was going to win the title, and then if he like the day of, just like these days, the day of, it's like, no, I'm not going to do it. Cold feet.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Vince was like looking at his two guys and like, man, these are my main eventers, really? I gotta rethink things.
You got to rethink everything.
Vince isn't doing it right. Anyways, let's move on. Number 2,
2.
Goldberg versus Undertaker. I
Hey,
feel like we just
one.
saw this
We
one.
just saw that one.
Boy, I was where was I? It was on Friday. I was not watching it live. I got on Twitter a little bit later in the day, probably around noonish, and I saw. Oh, let me take this picture off. And I saw people like shocked that Goldberg was still alive.
Yeah.
And then I watched one of our friendos, Stephen Fenders, posted the last minute of this match on his Twitter account, and I saw it, and it was shocking at how like bad it was. And people were talking about all sorts of stuff. Man, Goldberg's bleeding so bad. Goldberg is barely even on his feet. Oh my God, that tombstone, how's he alive? It sounded like the craziest, weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, so it starts off pretty strong, actually, or relatively strong. Undertaker punches Goldberg. Goldberg bounces off the rope, lays out Undertaker with a spear, then hits another one. Then Taker kicks out. Things start really going south when they do the ring post spot, where generally someone is charging towards someone that's in the corner. That person in the corner moves, and therefore Braun Strowman does it every match. And then that person charging hits their shoulder on the ring post. Goldberg did something comparable, but instead of hitting his shoulder on the ring post, he ran full speed and hit his head into the ring post.
Yeah.
And the little cut in his head from bashing his head against a door or locker backstage started pouring out blood. He was out.
He was gone.
He was out. He had no legs under him after that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And then after that is when things started really going bad.
Yeah.
He could seemingly barely stand up. We saw that tombstone spot where I don't know the particulars of what went wrong, but Goldberg got dropped on his head.
Yeah.
It didn't tuck his chin.
Nope.
And then we had that ugly, ugly sequence to finish the match where Goldberg hit something reminiscent of a jackhammer, but couldn't get Undertaker up all the way. Undertaker
like
just
what
about
I
dropped on his
figure
head.
a jackhammer might look like if I tried it.
Yeah. Same here. And then Taker kicks out. For some reason, they decide to do a tombstone spot where Goldberg picks up Undertaker, and then Undertaker reverses it.
Yeah.
They both fall.
Yeah.
Taker hits a choke slam.
I saw this spot these guys named Okada and Omega did, where they just try to do a tombstone.
They did a circle around the whole ring, reversing tombstone.
Let's do that, Bill. Okay, we'll do that, Mark. It's an honor to fight you, Mark.
Yeah, that didn't work out at all.
Collapse.
Gosh. I still really want to know. I mentioned this when we talked about it on our Monday news show this week.
Yeah.
What Undertaker had to say to Bill after that jackhammer spot?
They're not all gold, Berg. I don't know. There was
quite a bit of dialogue going back and forth there.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
And Undertaker looked like he was in pain.
You just ended my career.
You just dropped me on my head.
You dumb bastard. Anyways, there was one main event in WWE history, Larson, that was actually more shockingly bad than that one, though. And we're going to talk about it right now. Number one. Hogan versus Sid, WrestleMania 8.
If you had told me that this was Hogan and Sid's first match ever,
yeah,
like in a wrestling ring,
right,
after training,
right,
I might have believed that.
Right, but this is Hogan's retirement match.
Well, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't, obviously, because he was at the following WrestleMania.
Correct.
This is WrestleMania 8.
Yeah.
They did the same spot twice in this match.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most rudimentary, basic.
They were practicing their fundamentals.
Yes, which were still weak. Match. It's shocking.
But this was for the world title, so
no, it wasn't.
Oh wow.
No, it wasn't. It was a main event, though. It wasn't for the world title.
Goodness.
That was
what the
Randy
heck?
Savage and Ric Flair earlier show, which was a stellar match.
That was a really good match.
That's a stellar match.
And why wasn't that the main event?
Because Hogan wasn't in it. That's why.
My favorite part of this match isn't even in this match. It's the interview that Hogan gave in his shoot voice preceding this match, talking about how it's his retirement. And then a year later, he's still there. He returns to take the title from basically Bret Hart.
Yeah,
I mean, I know he took it from YOKOZUNA. He took it from Bret Hart.
From Bret Hart, yeah. And like everything is, if their performance, Hogan and Sid's performance, wasn't bad as it was, you have the finish.
Oh yeah, no. Well, who won this match?
Hogan by disqualification. But here's the thing. So Hogan hits Sid with a leg drop. Papa Shango was supposed to come in and break it up.
We think. Where did you get that info again?
I remember hearing that a while ago.
Okay.
That he was supposed to go in and break it up. That Sid wasn't supposed to kick out. Papa Shango was supposed to interfere and cause a DQ there.
Yeah.
But I know we've heard that's been contested in some respect, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, it's contested by me just watching the match and seeing Papa Shango came out literally
way
3 minutes later.
I mean, that's the contention. Anyways, Harvey Whippleman, who was Sid's manager at the time, gets on the apron. Hogan tosses him into the ring, and that's what causes the DQ.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense.
No.
And then Papa Shango runs down. He and Sid
runs. Yeah, that was one of the weirder things. He's like, he ambled down.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of urgency.
No, there wasn't.
He's like, I already missed my spot, so let me take my time. At this point.
I thought it was going to be Hogan hits the leg drop, and then Harvey Whippleman does something,
hops on the apron, distracts him before the pin or something.
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Anyway, Sid wasn't supposed to kick out. Is my understanding.
Right? Yeah, of course not, because it's a leg drop.
And I heard the story that it was Papa Shango who was late making the save.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was sent out late because there's no way. Like it was literally minutes later.
It was at a huge dome too. It was at the Hoosier Dome.
Yeah.
So you can't just be like, all right, leg drop, go out there.
Yeah.
You're gonna be way late.
Yeah. You have to get you need a map to find your way from the entrance all the way to the ring. It was huge.
So then Papa Shango and Sid are beating up on Hogan, who runs down. Ultimate Warrior, he's back.
Oh man, yeah, huge.
And he makes the save.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, I guess, the passing of the torch moment between Hogan and Warrior, because this is Hogan out the door and the Warrior somehow getting his foot back in there.
Yeah, another passing of the torch. So 2 years after the first one.
So it's a horrible match. It's literally like two guys who are just learning how to wrestle. That's what it looks like.
It really does feel that way. And the finish is absolutely bizarre because, like you said, DQ finish. Warrior comes back, and in the end, we get Hogan and Warrior standing in the ring together. And like you said, it feels like it should be maybe a passing of the torch moment. because, of course, Hogan could never have a passing the torch where he loses.
No.
I mean, he tried that 2 years earlier.
Well, initially, it was supposed to be Sid was supposed to take Hogan's spot. Mm-hmm. They wanted Sid to be the next huge babyface, but he just preferred to be a heel.
And he loves softball.
He loves softball, and if he was the next huge babyface, that'd be a major commitment. You know, if you're carrying that belt, you're on all the house shows. Sid's got one commitment.
Yeah.
Softball.
That's a softball, man. That's
Softball
that's
diamond.
the diamond, baby.
That's his true home.
Oh, man.
That's those are my favorite
It's the best.
stories.
I know, it's the best.
Sid loves softball.
Well,
more than making money.
Why wasn't Sid supposed to be at XYZ? Oh, well, it was softball season.
Softball. Why does Sid always disappear during the summer?
Softball.
Beer
league? You think it was a beer league?
No, I think he's probably higher tier than that.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
It's not just like chill. It's like you think it's actually like super competitive softball?
Like moderately competitive.
Do they have super competitive softball that's in like the recreational ranks?
I think so.
You think so?
Different levels.
Wouldn't they
like
just go?
Baseball.
Wouldn't they straight go to baseball though?
No, it's a different skill set. Because even slow pitch softball is a different skill set than baseball.
Okay. Do you think they have ultra competitive slow pitch softball?
Well, not ultra competitive, but moderately competitive.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I think there's beer league where it's literally no one really cares.
Yeah.
You're going out there to hang out.
Yeah.
Versus people who are a little more competitive and want to win or pretty good.
Neighborhood
like Braun Strowman's dad.
Yeah.
He supposedly holds the record for most softball home runs or something like that.
You think that's fast pitch or slow pitch?
I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyways, we have to do more research on softball.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just call up Sid.
There
if we ever get Sid in for a shoot interview,
it's all going to be about softball.
It's all going to be softball.
What position did he play?
Third, probably.
First.
You think it's first?
Yeah, because you have to move. You got to take like 3
He's not a shortstop?
He's got no. He has to take like 3 steps to his left to cover the bag. That's it.
Right. It's great.
And he's got a hell of a reach. He's 6'9".
Yeah. Well, that's why I think he'd be like third base because like you can do a lot with that reach.
Third base is fast twitch. Like if you're gonna get some hard line drives at you at third base, and you'd be able to react like that.
Yeah.
Sid's not noted for his reaction times.
Fair enough. Anyways, that's it for now. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. What other shockingly bad matches do you appreciate and want to let us know about? Till next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Starting at $1 a month, you can enjoy Going In Raw ad-free, gain access to the daily 30-minute Going In Raw post show, exclusive merchandise, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.